Welcome everyone. Welcome you all to my channel. I am so happy to have you here with the mystical hummingbird. It's such an exciting time. I don't know if you guys feel it, but things are moving along and it feels like there's so much going on right now that I feel things, like I mentioned before, very deeply. I told you guys last time we spoke that you should think about, what if someone told you that you were more powerful than you ever thought you were, that there was actually something within you, that you are not a person that's powerless, that you are not here on this earth with no options, that you're not just here a victim of anything, of anyone. And I have so many stories, so many things I want to share with you. I was going to be here last Saturday, this weekend, but it was not possible. I had so many things going on that I couldn't schedule it all and make the right time to be here with you guys. But I want to tell you, I've had several miracles the last couple of weeks, and in fact I had an amazing one yesterday as well. Happened to a dear friend of mine. But first I'm going to tell you, in the year 2002, okay, I am a writer. I haven't had any of my books published or anything. I had a poem published many years ago. This is like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And I've been trying to find it, where I placed it, and I haven't been able to, but it's just this little poem I wrote many years ago. But I have information that I'm asleep, and then I'm abruptly woken up, and many times I have ideas or thoughts that are in my mind that are not, I normally have a pen and a little notebook next to me so that I can keep track of all the things that come to me, because it is so exciting. And I always wonder what's going to be the next message. Well, in the year 2002, when as I mentioned before, I went through, like we all go through, we all have a story, and no story is bigger than another. Pain is pain. And however we take things as human beings, however we react, it will depend. Whatever path we decide to take, if we decide to take the path of becoming our worst enemy, like becoming a victim of whatever things may have happened to us, and we don't reconcile with the idea that okay, acknowledge it happened, and then let it go, then you'll sit for a long time, years even, trying to disunravel, the thing that caused this situation. And regardless what caused the situation, they're all learning experiences that we're here for, to learn to decipher and understand ourselves better. And once we can understand ourselves better, then we become more empathetic to other people and to other situations, and then we become stronger. And when we become stronger, then we're able to face life in a different form, in a different with different ideas, and we're lighter. We become lighter. Okay, I'm going to share something. Normally I would just say the poems that I write or the things that I want to share with you, but I'd rather read them, because I think when you read them, then you can just kind of, I don't know, I like reading them. It gives you more feeling. I woke up in the year 2002 one early morning, around 2:30 in the morning, and I already had this in my mind, and I heard the words awake, and I was like, okay. And I've heard bells before, and I've heard the voice saying, awake, it's time to awake, but I never heard this. This came right after each other. I heard the word awake, and then I just automatically sat up and began writing. And this is what I wrote that came to me. Awake, my heart, awake. The stillness of the morning calls, beckons. Awake, awake from your dwelling stead. Remove the veil of deep slumber, blossoming my heart as the petals of a rose in full wonder. Behold, dawn is breaking. Do make haste. Embrace the light of day, its tender wakefulness, caress, revealing the soul seeking its own forgotten mercies of truths untold. Awake, go hence with swift, silent steps into the brightness of the sun's warm, loving face. Let the sun rays enfold you, shine upon you, enveloping, covering the sweet essence of which you are made. Awake, my heart, awake. Now, I wrote this, and afterwards I was like, wow, I've been awakening myself, or I've been being helped to be awoken by spirit, and since I was a little girl. And I have to tell you guys, I choose not to have a religion because for me, when I was a little girl, I remember my relationship with the Creator. It was so deep. I could talk to, I called him and her, because for me, like I said before, it is in a creator, a spirit of both male and female form, like mother and father, because many times I remember when I would be sad and I had for whatever reason been punished, and I would run to him, and it would be like the mother that would embrace me. And I normally, I never really share this with many people actually, but I would look forward to the night. I couldn't wait for the night to come, and I would just lay down and close my eyes, and then I would travel. I would go to where God was at, and I would run to his arms. And when I would run to his arms, it felt like a mother and a father at the same time. And the love that I felt, it was just like you know when you have your favorite teddy bear, or you have a really good relationship with one of your parents, and you just whenever like hurt yourself, and you have an owie on your knee, and you run to mama or daddy, or please hold me, and then you get this beautiful comforting feeling, this warm and this like a peaceful feeling that it gives you. Okay, this is what I felt when I was with God, and there's nothing, like my entire life, I've been seeking this love, this being, because I thought that he would be okay. When I was little, I used to think, why isn't God famous? I mean, people do talk about God, and they talk about different things, and it's not like in their conversations like all the time. And I felt very odd because it was in my conversations all the time to talk about God. The only person that really understood me was my grandmother. My grandmother, she was very special. She was very spiritual. And when we talked about God together, I would tell her about my dreams and how I would travel to these different places. And I lived in two places. I lived both here and I think heaven, because it was like a heavenly place. I remember seeing swans. I remember seeing dragons flying. I remember seeing butterflies that talked, and the water talked. The spring would speak, the water would speak, the rocks would speak. Everything was alive. I kept much of these stories to myself because I never really felt that I was understood, even by my own family, and it's okay. I mean, I'm not judging anyone because we're all different and we all have a path we need to follow. But I've been told to be here. I've been told to open this channel, and I sat for a long time to what to call this channel. And I called this channel the Mystical Hummingbird because I feel I'm a mystical being. And hummingbirds are very special to me because they come to my ear and they speak to me, and they give me messages. And I, I live now more in this type of a life like I did when I was little. I I'm kind of a bit of a hermit, and the job that I have right now, it provides me lots of quiet and silence, and I'm able to go into silence and meditate, um, and when I do that, I have my third eye has opened. It opens. It's been open for a while now. I don't see things like, random, like I'm going to see this or I'm going to see that, or I see an aura, I want to see it. No, it happens when it happens. Um, but I do know that there's another world. But I'm kind of living like in the two worlds, and I do love the relationship that I have because Spirit listens to me. He hears my prayers, and I have that confidence that I'm not alone. And I can honestly tell you, I am not the same person I was years ago. Um, I am happy to have received these lessons that life has brought to me, that people have taught me. Like, I have to tell you, I never knew what hatred was. I didn't know. I didn't know what it felt to hate. I never hated anyone. But something happened in my life years ago, and this very unusual, um, foreign feeling, and it was so detrimental to my heart that I remember I would cry myself to sleep at night because of the bad thoughts I had towards these people. And I would ask God, please forgive me. Spirit, forgive me. For I don't mean to think that way. I don't wish anyone wrong or ill. I I need to I needed to forgive, and I needed to forgive myself for having those thoughts. But I came to that understanding, but it took many years for me to come to that solace, to come to that understanding that I am a whole person. But when when you have something really special, like a piece of porcelain or a beautiful glass, or let me show you, um, a crystal. Like, I have this crystals. I love crystals. If you take this crystal and you drop it in the ground, it will shatter to a million pieces, especially if you throw it with force, and it will just be in a million pieces. And what I will say is that my life had broken. I was in a million pieces. My life was broken. And I remember one of the first book that I wrote, it was called, I wrote it, I mean, the title of it was called Picking Up the Pieces. And it was therapeutic for me to write because I write everything. So I wrote how I felt and what this did to me, and what the betrayal, and how I felt, and how I betrayed myself. And anyway, so when I started I wanted to understand what hatred was and why I was feeling this way, and it was not good for me because it was making me ill physically. I sat down with myself. I would go to the mountain a lot. I hiked, and I would always go and talk to God in the mountain. And I brought the situation of the things of my feelings to Him. And I always expected answers, which I did. Um, I I was seeking answers. I was seeking God. I was seeking, trying to find me, what my role was as a mother, because I had children. I had 3 children. I had responsibilities. I kept 3 jobs to be able to support myself and my children. They were not little babies. They were no longer little, and I'm happy that they were not little. But it was also hard that they were older, and it doesn't make it any easier. Things like that, when parents go through divorces, it's everything's in shambles. But especially if the mother or the father are not grounded, and it makes it worse. And then by feeling by having this experience, it made me see what I was lacking, and I was lacking self-love, which was the most important thing. And this is why I am in this path, and I want to share with you what self-love has done for me by loving myself, by accepting, both my, that we're dual beings. We live in a dual 3D experience of Earth, which is positive and negative, good and evil, whatever you want to call it. But we all have shadow sides. No one's all light. No one is all perfect. No one is all knowing, except the Creator, and beings that are walking the path of enlightenment, like Christ and the Buddha, and other people in the world that we read books about, people that have been walking and trying to, people that write books, that they have given us information. There's so many of them. I can't even, the writers, it's like there's just a combination of all these names in my mind, and the ancients, and then the modern ones, and I would call them, the teachers. And I truly believe we are each other's teachers. No one higher than the other. I think we're just in different levels of understanding and different levels of vibrational, because we're vibrating beings. We're electrical beings, and we're created out of energy, and so we are here on this earth, and it seems like we're just walking and observing and experiencing things, and some people are just having the most horrible times, and I can only speak of me, of my experience, and I'm sharing this with you. I am very vulnerable. It's something that I never in my life thought that I would speak to the public like this, but I was asked to. I have dreams with my spirit guides, and I receive messages in different forms. I receive messages when I'm driving, when I hear a song, or I ask, or I'm saying a prayer, I'm talking to God, and then the thoughts will come to my mind, and I write things down, and like I said, I'm not better than anyone else. We're all in this path together, but we all choose, like you choose what to eat, you choose what job you're going to do. Some people, they say, no, I don't choose that job. Well, they take it upon themselves to, they go to school, they get an education, and they become a doctor, they become a lawyer, they become a nurse, they become an architect, or whatever. And that's the thing that they have accepted to do in their life. Some of them are happy with their choices, and others are not. Others are not very happy. I've seen a doctor on YouTube that he left his career. I believe he was a neurosurgeon, and he worked for many years. I think it was over 20 years. He worked, and then he was not happy with what he was doing. Not that he was not helping people. He loved that, but it was like, I guess, a rut, and it was not fulfilling for him, just going to sleep early or late, and then almost not having enough sleep, and then just almost like a robot, continual. For me, I consider myself a Jane of all trades. Why? Because I have such a vast interest in things like, oh my gosh, I love, for example, I love architecture. I don't know much about it. I have read some books, and I love constructing things, creating things. Like gardening is one of my passions. Like, God, I love gardening. I love to watch them grow. I love to go and find a piece that's completely destroyed, and then you go pick up all the weeds and take and grow beautiful things and create it that is pleasing to your eye, and use lavender and all the different rocks, and just gardening. I have spent hours and hours and years creating and helping. I remember in our property that my parents left for me and my siblings. The last probably year I have not been able to do as much because of different personal things that have happened, but I have to tell you, the joy that I get when I planted my first wisteria, a Japanese wisteria, that it's like clusters of flowers that are hanging like grapes, and the aroma that it exudes when you walk into the house is right outside our little house, and then they bloom in the spring, and I'm just watching them coming. Oh, they're coming, and I cut her back really well in the fall, and she exudes beauty, and I'm telling you, the aroma, and then all the millions of bees that come, and the people, they just love it, and it's just so it's so inviting, and it gives you this feeling of heaven on earth. Me, I have to have plants around me. I love everything that is green. I love things that grow and then they bring life. And I can tell you that I am a person that when a plant is thirsty, when I walk into a room, I hear a screeching sound, and the plant doesn't have to be close to me. And I've been like this since I was little. I can hear the screeching, high pitched sound in my ear that is almost like, oh. So I have to run and get a cup and immediately water this little plant. Anyway, what about being power, having power, not being powerless. It's all inside of us. But first, it's like the garden, because your mind is like the garden. So it's like, I use that as an analogy. And so to find yourself, you need to thirst and want to find you, like you're hungry, like you thirst for water. Like for me, I have thirsted and hungered for God since I was little, because I know this is not my real home. I've never felt like home. I've always had this emptiness that's never been able to be filled, because it's been really hard for me. I had dyslexia when I was in school, and I didn't know I had it. Not with letters, I had it with numbers. And to this day I have it, and sometimes I confuse the numbers backwards. So when I add, I have to do my adding like 3 or 4 times to make sure, because when I'm doing my bills and things like that, and when I worked also, I did the bookkeeping on Fridays, and I needed to have everything on tip-top shape with my patients. And I have to tell you that I felt very inadequate, and I felt very, like, sometimes even stupid. I don't like to use that word, but at times I did, because I thought, how can you be so stupid? Why can't you just figure out the numbers? Damn it, it's 4 and 4 is, hello, it's 8, and 7 plus 7 is 14, and but sometimes I see the numbers backwards, and it was that was the worst thing for me. But I struggled with it, and up to today, I not as bad now, but it was bad at other times. But I want to tell you that if whatever situation you may find yourself in right now, whatever it may be, sit down with yourself and have an introspective moment with yourself, and do like a study. Think, okay, start the day, okay, do I really enjoy doing this? Like, this is why I say I'm a Jane of all trades, because I do so many things, because it's more fun like that. Like, I don't play any instruments, but I'm dreaming of learning to play the guitar, and my mother left me her guitar before she passed away. So and then after I learned the guitar, I want to learn how to play the cello. I adore the sound of the cello. Can just, let me tell you, it can take me to another world. I mean, completely. I love the piano I love all the instruments, but my favorite, I think, is the strings. The guitar, number one. I love the harp, the sound of the harp. I don't know why, it brings me like memories of past lives or something from my past. And there's also an instrument from Persia, from like Iran and those places, and it is also a string instrument, but I don't remember exactly what the name is. And also they have them in India. They look like a guitar, like they're long, and they sound so beautiful. I've always loved that. Now back to what I was saying. Study your life. Ask yourself, am I happy where I'm at? We don't have to do everything that we think we have to do. The number one thing for us is to make ourselves happy. Find that which gives you joy. If you're in a relationship that doesn't make you happy, speak to that person. If you love that person unconditionally, that's another thing, because people don't understand, and I'm not judging anyone, I'm just speaking out of my own experience, what life has taught me. Love was not what I was taught or what I thought love was. Love is um, an unconditional essence that it comes innate from our hearts to feed it, regardless of the situation of that person. If that person, let's say they lost a leg, half of their body, half of their face is burned. I've seen a person, and I read it in a magazine some years back, as they were in a home, in one of these homes that you go camping, and it came on fire, and the woman burned her face really bad. The husband did a little bit, and some of the kids did as well, but she did the worst, and her face, her nose, her ears melted. This man has stayed with her. He stayed with her and the family. They even had a child later on. Unconditional love is when you love you. This is why I'm an advocate for filling our cup. Our cup is the most important one to fill. If we don't fill our cup, no one can fill it for us. Of course, when people say, "Oh, he completes me," no one can complete you. You complete yourself. And when you complete yourself, then there's enough to pour out from your cup to others. And unconditional love is the love that's pure, that you see the good in the other person, that you uplift them. But when people are not happy, no longer happy with themselves, then they're not going to be happy with anyone. So this is why it's so important to feed ourselves and almost be selfish in that. And I think selfish, that sounds negative. And I actually don't believe that, because we need to be selfish. Sometimes people give too much. You can give too much of yourself where you forget yourself. You forget your own presence and your own divinity. You forget, and you give and you give and you give, and you're exhausted, and you go to bed, and you're done. And there's nothing left. You need to feed yourself before you feed others. When we're in an airplane and they're teaching you what to do in case something happens and you need to use the oxygen, and to bring it to yourself, can you see? You start giving it to everyone else, and you don't use it on you. You're supposed to use it on you first, and then you can go help another person. And that's not being selfish. It's selfish if we don't take care of us, and we forget us, and we don't prioritize and take ourselves and put ourselves higher, because we belong in a higher place. We have to see our self-worth. Why be in a relationship because of money? Because that person, it's good for my finances. That's okay, and I can just do whatever, and then I can just keep them there, and everybody likes them, and blah blah blah. And you stay in that relationship, but you're not happy. I am wild and free. I now am at the point where in my life where I am a person that I come first. I have grandchildren, and I have children. I have 3 children, and I have some grandchildren that are beautiful and wonderful. And yes, I love doing things for my family, and I wish that I could do more because of my time, but it's okay. I do what I can. And yes, sometimes, I might do a little bit too much on one side and not enough on the other, and I try to balance. I try to be fair. But at first, not now, but for the last years, I've been meaning to be more fair with me, so that there's more of me to give to the others, and to share with others. I'm going to share another poem with you guys, and I have lots more things that I want to share with you. I have to tell you that I was driving last week, a week and a half ago in the freeway, and it was in the middle of the night. Well, it because it gets darker earlier, and they have done something with the roads that they kind of deviate to. They just moved it a little bit, so it's kind of hard. And then the trucks, I didn't have a lot of space. I was in the right lane, and this humongous truck almost hit me. And I was conversing with my Father, with my Creator, because I normally do this when I'm driving. That's my time to talk with Him. And it was the weirdest thing how I automatically maneuvered my car closer even to the side of the road without even looking if there was enough space for me to be there. And I immediately pushed the horn as loud as I could. The car was practically hitting the front of my car. And we're talking a huge semi truck. I mean, if he had hit me, I would have, God knows what would have happened. And I was calm and cool and collected, and not even one bit moved like, oh, like this. Not at all. And I attribute this to this relationship I have with God, that He's with me 24/7. I'm going to read something to you, another one. I feel that God loves me, and I know He loves all His children, but I myself feel, and I'm not judging anyone, but I feel that God needs to be famous, because if people knew that there really was a Creator, and they could build a relationship with this Creator and walk with this Creator 24/7, like I've done since I was little, they would see that life, you could not live life without this presence and the joy it gives you. Deep in the silence before the dawn, I find your breath. I hear your unutterable song, vehemently awakening my soul to a new dream. Your love embodied in all I see and touch, soft, gentle as the petals of a rose or a summer breeze. This love that feeds my heart, enraptures my soul, endears itself into me as the roots of an ancient tree extend themselves beneath the deep earth. I'm a very deep person. I feel very deeply. I talk to nature. I speak to the birds, and I've had instances where there was this little bird that came to my office. There was one night where I couldn't sleep, so I danced. I love to dance. I danced, and I'm not kidding you. I danced the entire night. When I danced the whole entire night, I realized, oh my gosh, I gotta go to work, because I was in a trance, and I even feel that I levitated a couple of times. I was absolutely not tired. I ran to the shower, got myself ready, got in my little car, and I walked out the door, and there was a rainbow, and it hadn't rained. And the rainbow, there was two rainbows, one this way, and as I drove, the rainbow kind of followed me, and when I got to work, the rainbow ended up by the health department where I used to work. My office, I had a maple tree, a Japanese maple tree in front, absolutely beautiful, that I could see through my office in my window. And the night before, the day before, I was wondering, oh, I would love to have some yellow, purple, and yellow forget-me-nots. Oh, I would love that. And the bottom there, because it was an empty space. So you guys, I park my car. I had to be there at 7 every day, because I'm the one that opened up the health department, and I had to get all the charts ready, had to get all the computers on, had to get all the faxes that came in, and I had to put them in the right charts, all the things that, like if a patient had to send a previa, all the risk patients, whatever, all those, that was my job, part of my job. So I opened the door, I came to open the door, and then I heard pew, 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 and I looked, and I saw the cutest little bird. He must have been no bigger than my hand. And he was by the maple tree, and he was like talking to me. And I thought, what? And I didn't want to go in because he kept on beep, 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 like he wanted my attention. So I I stood there without moving. I thought, well, if I move, then he's gonna fly away. And I told myself, no, just relax. And then I kind of looked over and I said, what are you doing, little friend? What are you doing here? And then I started speaking like higher and higher to him. And you guys, he was going like talking to me. And all I felt in my heart was like this love emanating from this little tiny being. And he would move himself like this, so all his little feathers would make him all fluffy and delicious. He was just so cute. He was the most beautiful little thing I ever seen, and he kept on doing it. I thought, okay, are you happy? I guess you're happy, huh? And then I looked in the ground. There was a man that was just actually, he had just put the boxes in the back of his truck, and guess what? Purple and yellow forget-me-nots. They had just been planted. The man left. The bird was still there. I said, I have to go in, baby. I have to go in. So I went inside and I was hurrying, trying to get that stuff done. And I thought, now he's probably flown away. So I went by my office and I stared out the window, and he's still just perched in that little branch there. And when I got closer, I started speaking to him through the window, and he began all, and I almost started crying. He hadn't left. So he was communicating with, telling me that he loved me and that he was happy that I am. And I started talking to him. I actually walked outside and I had the keys in my hand, and I would move them like this to make a little bit of a ringing sound that the bird would maybe recognize and kind of connect with that. And I started continue to talk to him like this. And this is about, I want to say, like 6:45 in the morning. And this adorable little bird just was there. And after a while, I said, okay, now I have to go in. I have to go turn my computer on and all the other things, and I have to go. The bird stayed there for a long time, and that rainbow, it came across like this, almost like a cross from my house. I live north and my work is south, so I was going southbound, and then the rainbow went like a cross. I can't explain to you. And it almost ended by the health department, and I was like, wow. And I was not tired the entire day. I was filled with energy. And so I have lots of like different things that happen to me, and all these lovely moments that I have in my life that I want to share with you, because I have this relationship with the Creator. And this channel is raw and is unedited, and it's not perfect, but my heart is here with you, and I want to share my life with you. I will have some, I've asked about, there are some spiritual experiences that I've had that are paranormal and very different, that some people may not understand, but I was told that I'm supposed to share them regardless, nevertheless, and because I have asked. So in the near future, I will be telling you some of the stories as the events that have occurred in my life to bring me to where I'm at today. And I want to let you know that you are all loved, regardless of your condition, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of things that you have done. Things can change. We're not, we can change. We can change our mind. We can purify our minds. We can purify our thoughts. We can purify our actions. And no matter what we have suffered, no matter if it has been abuse, regardless of the sort of abuse that you have had, things can be healed through therapy. There are people there that can help you, but you need to find the love, find that child inside of you, that little boy, that little girl when you were little, and start loving that child. That child is very special and is filled with gifts, with spiritual gifts and ideas, and if you're probably geniuses walking around, but many people like me, like myself, I didn't think I was much. I didn't think much of myself, but I don't think that anymore. Um, I am not any better than anyone. I am not more loved because of my relationship with God. No, I'm just like I won't say like a regular Joe because I'm not a Joe, but I'm a woman. I mean, I feel like a woman, and I'm here, and I feel that I am a daughter, a daughter of the Creator, and I was created to be in this world. I chose to come here. I don't know everything, but the more I know and learn, you guys, the less I feel that I know, because it's such a vast. It's like you jump into the Alice, the rabbit hole, and you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's amazing the things that you will find. But when if this thing breaks, you can't put it back together. It's impossible to put it back together. But with love, you probably can glue it together to make it look like something. But then with the love that you have, you can start adding things to it to make it strong, and it can stand. It may not be perfect, but it will stand, and you will be able to have it. And it will be rough around the edges, but it's still something. And this is what I've been doing with my life. And I have so many amazing things that have been happening. My little friend told me yesterday that her grandson was very ill. He was vomiting blood, and he was taken to the hospital. And I told her not to have faith, and to tell her daughter that it's going to be okay, that something, go to God and trust Him. After I finished speaking with her, I imagined Christ, Jesus Christ, our Lord, and I want to say he's my homeboy. He was one of my favorites. He took him in his arms and just carried him and was with him the entire time. And I asked my spiritual guides to help, and of course I asked God, and then this morning she sent me a picture. She says, Vivi, it's the most amazing thing. This little boy never sleeps a full night. He was at the hospital. He slept the entire night, and he asked for food the next following morning. He stopped vomiting blood. They didn't know what was happening, what had happened to him. He was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And I know it was due to God. And I know people say, well, what about this person that got killed, and that one got raped, and this happened and that happened. I know that in this world there are all kinds of things that are happening with us, to us, and many things, because I don't know everything, but I know there has to be a reason for everything, because there's no way in this world, in all the intelligence, that there is intelligence. When a mother carries a baby in such perfection, you cannot come tell me that there's no. But it's okay. We all choose to believe what we want to believe. I believe in God. I believe in the Creator. I believe in the Father that loves me. And I'm His little girl, and He takes me by the hand, and I go places with Him, and I go with His angels, and Christ is one of my best friends, and we just walk around and do the things that we need to do. And I know that I'm here in this world for a purpose, and this is one of them. And I love you all. I wish you all a wonderful week, a wonderful day, wonderful days. I would love that you would subscribe to my channel if you like, even if you like the information and the content that I'm providing for you. I'm going to try to be here once a week, and continue to tell you my stories, and share my life with you, and to tell you how magical life is. Magical. When you walk with God, life is magical. And I am that I am. And I don't know what more to say, but that this world it holds so many things, and we're living in a matrix. I'm telling you guys, I told many people, watch that movie. It has hundreds of messages. I mean, hundreds. I watched it the first time. I think it was in the year 2000 when it came out. In 1 week, I watched it 7 times, every day, one day, one day, every day. I think I watched that movie maybe like 20 times, maybe 30, in all the years since that. And then there's still things that I learn when I'm watching it. I go, oh wow, and then I find out, oh wow. And some movies are like that, like some songs are like that will teach you things. Okay, I don't want to take any more time. Thank you for your time. I wish you the best, and I hope to see you soon. And I hope that you enjoy this time with me. And if you have any questions or anything, you can just put a little note there. I'll do my best to answer everyone. I love you all, and just remember, you are loved. You are the most precious thing to the Creator. He loves His children, regardless of color, regardless of race, regardless of country where you come from. We are in this melting pot together. Regardless, we are here to make a point, to learn something from each other, to uplift each other, to create a better world, and to just change things. And the only change that can be, it can be ourselves here. So see the things what you want to change, see the things where you see yourself doing, do the things that you love so that you can be successful in the things that you love. Trust yourselves, trust your innate, that beautiful feeling that your heart, create your mind and heart coherence, unite them together, like marry them together in your ideas, because then you create even better, and create with emotion. Emotion is the creator. I'm telling you, create with emotion. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Love you. My soul family.